think it was on set, people didn't know how to react to me. I kind of felt it was like I was just shut down. The sorrow and the sadness and the devastation, to me, was devastating, and I was depressed.
I don't want to complain too much, but I'm honestly exhausted.
For the past 50 years, people have had the truth right in front of them, but never realized it until Roumie decided to come clean.
It's just anxiety. It's like, at one point I had heart palpitations. I'm like, okay.
Being casted as the savior of the Christianity in a movie makes him all the more mysterious. Is Jonathan Roumie's confirmation an important stage of his career? Can it really change how we look at him as an artist and also as a human being? Join us as we proceed to Jonathan Roumie. Confirms what we all knew along, the life that led to the revelation. Jonathan Roumie did not become a star overnight, even though he is part of the new generation of actors. With a background in multiculturalism and religion, he established his career with decades of dedication, inspiration, and faith. In his most popular role as Jesus in the series The Chosen, Roumie has been mostly interpreted as a man of faith who does not separate art from faith. People have been wondering for years whether he really is a spiritual man, and he does not perform this role on stage, but he is an angel. All in all, Roumie's upbringing also appeared to be a major influence in determining his attitude from his earlier young age. Born in a family where his parents respected the customs, while at the same time challenging himself and finding meaning in all he was doing. These roots would eventually give him motivation to touch individuals deeply with any form of media he was involved in. However, this was not easy for him, and he passed through different stages before he attained success. Beginning with commercials and minor projects built character, but Roumie never wavered. His religion became his strength. Acting while growing up was something that Roumie did with a lot of dedication and ambition. That's why he kept trying to navigate the global movie business, accepting small parts, and dreaming of the day when he will become the man who can tell inspiring stories. His most famous work is The Chosen, but few people are aware of how personal he became in portraying the character. Is this a sign, perhaps, of the truth he has only recently acknowledged? It has stirred controversies for a long time, as many fans and critics of the show have asked themselves whether it was merely acting by the actor Roumie or something more. Did he use his talent of portraying the human and the divine character of Christ through acting? Or were there something more between them? Also, the behind-the-scenes stuff, such as interviews and different public appearances, described a man who was wholly devoted to the principles. People continued to speculate, fueled by Roumie's assured attitude and fluent speech, touching on the topic of spirituality. Roumie's rags-to-riches narrative also has its ties with the common struggles of artists of faith and filmmakers, especially those working in Hollywood. While many rising Hollywood potentials learn to deal with the reality that stardom implies living a double life, including keeping core values concealed from the public, Roumie never had that problem. By standing firm to his beliefs, he not only created a special service for himself, but the artist was also an icon of hope to anyone that wanted the art and spiritual world connected. What made Jonathan Roumie to take half a century waiting so that he can confirm what many held, and what was the thing he held? What was the confirmed revelation? It is quite unbelievable that for the past 50 years, the truth the world has largely speculated would still remain with a family. When he finally came out and confirmed it, he didn't just affirm fan theories that were developed over the years, he remolded his legacy. The revelation focused on an area of his life, which he holds most personal, that impacted his career choices and persona in society. Roumie revealed that his religious faith and belief system were the main determinants of both his vocation and perception of life. It was not simply about being a Sunday Christian, it was about seeking to live every day, every profession, every decision with purpose. For years, he continued to let this world think that his involvement with The Chosen was a perfect way of casting. Now, he has come clean on the fact that his portrayal was as much about his vocation as much as it was performance. To fully understand how groundbreaking this revelation is, much like many of Roumie's other fans, one must analyze all of the clues left in the previous seasons. It is now quite possible to describe his commitment to challenging films, speaking of redemption, forgiveness, and transformation, as purposeful. Watching each project that he decided on, it is difficult not to notice that they reflected his inner journey as he masked his religious pursuits. This revelation gives new color to his career. It can only be inferred here that the life Roumie leads has been well-planned service, not only to his passion, but to his faith and the rest of mankind. Such a secret shows another level of humility in him for keeping such a truth to himself for such a long time. But why now? For what reason, after 50 years, does he choose to define what most people felt was true? One reason might be timing. As society becomes more and more divided, Roumie's confirmation is a positive message about society. Instead of focusing on the noise and turning away, by sharing his faith-driven purpose, he's inviting conversation. It's not about changing one's mind, but about demonstrating the power of conviction and character. This also shows more about his plan in his decision to wait. In this manner, Roumie preliminarily established himself and therefore delivered his message to a larger and much more receptive audience. What messages does this confirmation give for Roumie's future projects? Will they have more relevant spiritual tones? And what impact does this have for his interaction with fans with different belief systems? These questions are prompted by the reveal of Roumie's truth and offer more thoughts on the topic of art and the self. Moreover, the revelation helps to discuss Roumie's previous work from a fresh perspective. What was once perceived as warm and sincere is now backed up by warm and sincere intentions. Smaller, lesser-known roles also become more important because they are depicted as a part of something bigger. His decisions engender the appropriate match of values and priorities, making him stand out in an environment denounced for putting business before quality. Is Roumie's life the same, or was there a more visible and strong difference after he became famous? Life before and after fame. Jonathan Roumie's rise to stardom was as complex as the person in question. Before any fame and success, Roumie had to face the cold and often cruel world where people struggle to make ends meet in an industry built on risks and uncertainty. Roumie was originally from New York City and raised in a multicultural environment, with an Egyptian engineer as a father and an Irish artist as a mother, which made him learn different traditions that put much value on people's interactions informed by faith and narrations. The origins of his parents gave him a rather peculiar outlook on life, giving him a strong understanding of truth, as well as perseverance from a tender age. When young, Roumie had an inclination towards arts that made him distinct from other people of his age. At first, he wanted to become a director of movies, but quickly it was realized that he possesses acting skills in his blood. Completing his film studies at the School of Visual Arts in New York, Roumie expanded his knowledge in different sides of the film making, ranging from camera works to actors. This is the time when he found out that acting provided him with the opportunity to tap into his feeling side. However, the process of moving to professional practice as a career was the biggest obstacle that was hard to overcome. Roumie's early career was full of hard work and gaining personal experiences as well. As many actors struggle to find their big break, still he worked various odd jobs to support himself as he chased his dream. Despite the absence of such roles in the beginning, Roumie never strayed from performing acting jobs such as waiting tables up to doing voiceovers. Some of these experiences involved getting small commercial work and bit parts in independent features, which provided him with tastes of success. But these successes were usually followed by long periods of inactivity. The Chosen can be considered as the film that made a significant milestone in the development of Roumie's career. Playing Jesus Christ in the historical series helped him to gain international fame and recognition. However, the way to this role was accompanied by a series of auditions, failures, and self-reflection. But fame had its own beauty with it, and its own challenges came along with it too. Roumie's newfound fame entailed learning the reactions of a diverse audience that sees a different version of the character he portrayed. Despite all these achievements, Roumie remained humble, with all the positive attributes coming from hard work and faith, which have been accumulated because of his upbringing. Adjustment to living beyond the spotlight was another concern that came with the fame. Finding the middle between professional duties and personal principles was a dance. Speaking engagements, fan interaction, and public and charity events tied the worth of his job with the duty he had in informing the public. Nevertheless, Roumie was humble in portraying his role both as an actor and a public figure, and sometimes even expressed the fact that he felt privileged to have been afforded such opportunities. What was he like with his birth family, and how did they impact his life and actions? Family and personal life. Family has always been at the core of Jonathan Roumie's existence and identity, both in the personal and the professional levels. Born of parents who valued both religious and artistry, Roumie grew up in a literal cultural and spiritual storytelling, living with traditions shaped by his Egyptian father's side, emphasizing community and endurance while possessing storytelling passion and spiritual connection from his Irish mother. However, there is little that the public knows about Roumie's personal life, because he seems to have drawn a curtain over that aspect of his life. There is no mention of a spouse or children, but his life is far from lonely. Roumie has a large family, including close friends and co-workers he has become friends with throughout the years. He frequently calls his co-workers and followers an extended family, meaning people belong to more than one, not only strict employment-based category. Families continue to be an essential part of Roumie's life, as well as in the narration of the story. They have stood right behind him and have enjoyed his successes as much as they have prayed him through some very rough spots. He often points to his family as the source of his motivators, especially during some idle moments of crisis. Their support gave him the strength that he had to pursue through in an industry, which challenged an individual to the limits. Although Roumie does not have children of his own, he actively engaged in the scope of the mentorship corresponding to his community. Young talents, especially aspiring actors and young professionals, seek his guidance and motivation because of him being true to life and a devout believer. Roumie's charity work and outreach participation established a noble culture that is committed to the welfare of the society. The empathy that defines him can be seen in his interaction with individuals, giving him the capacity to understand them uniquely. Apart from the family connections that he has fostered, Roumie is religious in his personal life. It shapes all domains of his life, including decision-making and the bonds he is building. Regardless of good deeds or quiet self-reflection, Roumie is not only the embodiment of the characters he portrays, but also a role model to many. Life is full of challenges and struggles. How did Roumie move past this? Career, challenges, and triumphs. The career of Jonathan Roumie can be considered an example of determination and flexibility. Other than The Chosen's rising star, Roumie has an extensive career that demonstrates his acting versatility. He appeared in episodic roles on acclaimed television shows such as Law and Order, SVU, Criminal Minds, and NCIS. These early performances, even though short, enabled him to play out more elaborate characters and build his skills. Before joining Chosen, Roumie has already worked in a popular television series under HBO titled Ballers, where he plays a supporting character working in the middle of the complications of professional athletes. Although a second supporting character, the part suggested he could depict complexity and subtlety. Likewise, when he guest starred on The Good Wife, people were given a peek into his capability to tell multidimensional stories. However, those projects were quite unnoticeable predecessors of the further works that could bring him success. Roumie also tried their hand in voice acting for video games and animation. From this medium alone, one could see that he was not stereotypical and was willing to branch out in terms of approaches in narrative. Still, Roumie had those times when he felt the need to take roles that fit closer to his beliefs and principles. Getting the part of Jesus Christ in The Chosen was not only the most important professional experience for him, but also a spiritual journey. It also required the candidate to possess not only technical abilities, but also emotional and spiritual qualities. Roumie has explained that it is transformative and enables him to put his faith into his work. However, one could not deny already that the demands of the role were immense. Shooting was a lengthy process and was done on set, complicated by difficult weather conditions. In addition, the role of a head, associated with such a hero's figure, meant carrying a certain burden. Nevertheless, for the given challenges, Roumie went to every scene with a sense of commitment and passion, using own personal experience of a spiritual transformation. On the same note, Roumie had personal struggles similar to the intensity of his struggles at work. This socialite has been open about his struggles with depression, especially when he felt he was not getting any job. While these periods were indeed rather dark, they also became a soil for growth and development. It took therapy, prayer, and the help of a couple of very good friends for Roumie to face his fears and become a stronger person. Thanks to his openness, he has become an advocate for mental health, where people are encouraged to come out and seek help when they need it. These are things well known about Jonathan, but what are the things not well known about him? Jonathan Roumie, little-known facts. Although people know him for playing the role of Jesus in The Chosen, Jonathan Roumie is a man of many facets and stories to which people rarely get to witness. Other than the interviews and public appearances, there are aspects about him that make him a very complex, interesting and intriguing man whose life has been as complicated as it was inspiring. Most of the fans may not be aware that Jonathan Roumie is involved in music making apart from acting. Other early activities exploring these arts involved liking drums and other related musical instruments such as guitars. For him, music was much more than fun. He used music to create during his or her young age. He once had ambitions of becoming a musician and even attempted to be a songwriter. While he pursued acting as his career, it is essential to note that he still enjoys music, and he uses it in his acting as well. In several interviews, Roumie has explained that music is almost an essential tool for preparing for scenes involving intense emotions in order to facilitate the required level of emotional identification. Roumie's religious engagements are not just limited to the on-camera exercises. It is believed that having to portray Jesus in some of his scenes, he is a strong man of prayer. Little do they know how dedicated he is. He has been known to discuss his intense prayer regimen that consists of recitations, meditation, and times of thankfulness. Personally, Roumie usually expresses how his spiritual practice has helped him through some of the toughest years, including at the workplace. He's also a strong supporter of interfaith dialogues, as he will consult with different religious faiths while practicing Christianity. As for Jonathan Roumie, before entering the big stage with The Chosen, he was not a complete stranger to the animated world. He lent his voice to various animated series and video games, among other areas. Also, he was a voice actor in different productions, such as Mafia 2 and Evolve. Voice acting means a lot to him, which can be clearly seen through the way he can breathe life into characters. Roumie has more often attributed this to these experiences to help him learn to express emotions and subtle feelings using tone and vocal modulation alone, which came in handy while performing in front of the camera. Interestingly, many do not know that Roumie was involved in faith-based projects prior to The Chosen. He has been involved in church plays and even helped in managing church ministry outreach programs even before fame. These experiential immersions not only strengthened his own faith, but also provided him with a personal glimpse of the ways that stories are capable of influencing people's faith. Roumie has continued with this commitment today and frequently works with various religious organizations towards creating concord and service. Multilingualism was also an influence in his early years. Because he grew up in a multicultural family, he now speaks Arabic and knows basic Gaelic. This is because the language has enabled him to cross over to different demography and also lend realism to certain parts he was portraying. This versatility in languages could also be attributed to his developed profound respect for various races and creeds. Roumie has named a vast list of different sources that influenced his work as a performer and a director. In his acting, he looks up to other actors such as Marlon Brando, Daniel Day-Lewis, and various spiritual leaders and philosophers. Having read the books of Thomas Merton and St. Augustine, he says that these personalities have influenced his perception of work as a vocation, rather than just a career. All these diverse influences help Roumie bring a combination of artistic and spiritual values in his work. Although Roumie has shared his experiences of depression publicly, there is much that the public does not know about the mental health cause that he supports actively. He has collaborated with groups seeking to create awareness and support people struggling with mental illnesses. His desire to let people know he suffers from mental illness has helped thousands of his fans get the help they need and stop the stigma. Roumie's perception of mental health is quite human and relatable, as he avers that the real power is found in weakness. Besides his roles in art and religion, Roumie is also known for being an environmentalist. He has been involved in projects which were geared at minimizing mechanical emissions and protecting ecosystems. This comes out vividly in his personal life, where he has passion for nature-related activities such as hiking. This makes environmental conservation as a part of spirituality, according to Roumie, who has a perception that the preservation of the environment is moral. There are also several other relatively lesser-known aspirations of Roumie, and one of them is to write a book. Whether it is a self-reflective book about his life or someone motivational essays, Roumie had teased fans with this new desire of his in storytelling outside of television. For him, writing is a way of reaching out to people again and conveying encouragement and strength. While exploring these lesser-known areas of Jonathan Roumie's life, it could be seen that he is not only a great actor, but an incredibly complex person. The things that he loves, aptitudes, and beliefs depict a man as dedicated to the pursuit of excellence and service, both to himself and art, as one could possibly be. These layers are kept well hidden only to add to the growing respect that the fans and his co-workers have for him, and therefore makes his story a real rags to riches in both the artistic as well as the personal level. There is a lot more people expect of this man, especially after his revelation. Will he go more into his religion-based movies and roles? Or will he diversify and explore more? Only time will tell. What do you think of the revelation of Roumie's life? And do you think he will take on a more religious role in the future? Share your thoughts with us in the comment section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.